She watched the human fight unarmed, and knew the warrior must be hers. The arena was enormous, stretching as far as the eye could see. Massive walls of polished metal glimmered under the twin suns, reflecting the thousands of spectators packed into high galleries. Every race in the sector had come to watch, each hoping to witness dominance, skill, and the crushing of the weak. Here, only power mattered. Strength, weapons, and enhancements decided life and death. High above the arena floor, a lone figure observed. She was tall, armored in a shimmering exoskeleton of cobalt and silver, her eyes sharp as knives. Her species, the Vorath, ruled half the star systems not through numbers but through skill, training, and fear. She had seen hundreds of fighters, each more skilled than the last, and yet nothing had caught her interest in years. Until now. The human stepped onto the arena floor. He was small, frail-looking, and completely unarmed. The crowd laughed, some even booed. Humans were considered fragile and useless in combat without tools. Their bones were weak, their reflexes slow, and their bodies unprepared for the violence of the galaxy. Yet here he was, facing an alien twice his size, armed with a blade that gleamed with energy. The Vorath warrior tilted her head. There was a strange calm in the human. No panic, no pleading, no false bravado, just eyes that measured, calculated, and accepted the impossible. He was aware, alert, and strangely confident. She felt a tingle she hadn't felt in decades, a spark of curiosity, the kind that came when something completely unexpected happened. The signal sounded and the fight began. The first opponent lunged, energy blade raised. The human didn't dodge or attack immediately. He observed. As the blade swung down, he sidestepped, dropping his weight and using the momentum to send the alien tumbling past him. A murmur went through the audience. Humans were supposed to die here. That was the rule. No human could survive a direct strike from a fully armed Vorath warrior. Yet this one had done more than survive. He had avoided injury without a weapon. The Vorath warrior leaned forward. Her claws scraped lightly against her exosuit. He was not using brute force. He was using strategy. She could see it in the way his body moved, how he shifted weight, kept his center low, and read the timing of his opponent's swings. Each movement was deliberate, each step precise. He was learning, adapting, not reacting blindly. The second attack came faster, more ferocious. The alien fighter, frustrated by his avoidance, tried to strike with both hands. The human grabbed one wrist, twisted, and sent the other arm slamming into the ground. The crowd gasped. He didn't strike to kill, but to neutralize. His movements were efficient, controlled, almost graceful. Every hit he delivered or avoided seemed to have a purpose. The Vorath warrior's heart raced in a way it hadn't in years. She had witnessed many battles, countless victories, and still she could not predict the human's next move. There was intelligence in his body, something instinctive yet precise, something raw and undeniable. He wasn't strong, not in the conventional sense, but he was dangerous beyond imagination, and that made him interesting. The human ducked under a sweeping kick, rolling forward and slamming his shoulder into the alien's chest. The crowd roared. Even those who had doubted him were forced to pay attention. The alien stumbled but recovered quickly, frustration and surprise evident in his growl. Most fighters would panic by now. Most would use rage or desperation or fear, not the human. He moved with clarity, never letting emotion cloud judgment. Each step, each pivot, each movement was deliberate. The Vorath warrior recalled her own training. From the first day of combat instruction, they were taught that a fight was about dominance, not survival. Kill or be killed. Weapons were everything. And yet this human, unarmed and alone, had turned the rules upside down. He was surviving, yes, but he was also teaching the arena something new. Another alien charged, larger than the first, its body enhanced with metal and muscles grafted with synthetic fibers. It roared, swinging a pair of energy axes with deadly precision. The human didn't retreat. He met the attack head-on, ducking under the first swing and twisting his body in a way that sent the axes clanging against the floor behind him. In one smooth motion, He rolled past the alien, flipped to his feet, and used a low kick to knock the opponent off balance. The Voreth warrior could not look away. Every human movement was impossible to predict. He seemed to anticipate attacks before they came, not through magic or tech, but through instinct honed to a level she had never seen in any race. He was unarmed, yet every move carried a weight and precision no weapon could match. And the crowd, despite their initial contempt, was captivated. They had come for spectacle and violence, but what they were witnessing was something else entirely, skill born of spirit. One of the largest aliens in the arena, a brute with spikes along its arms, lunged at him with blinding speed. The human sidestepped again, and in a motion that seemed impossible, he grabbed the alien's momentum and sent it crashing into the wall. Silence fell for a heartbeat. Then the arena erupted. Humans were never supposed to survive this long, let alone fight with such clarity and control. The Voreth warrior leaned forward. She had fought thousands of skilled opponents, but none had ever commanded the battlefield without a weapon. None had survived against multiple enhanced fighters using only their body and mind. The human wasn't just surviving, he was dominating without killing. Each strike neutralized a threat but did not maim. Each movement avoided injury but displayed total control. The final opponent, the fastest in the arena, approached. It had watched the previous fights, learned from them, and was determined to end the human before he could defeat another. It moved with lightning speed, striking in unpredictable arcs. The human crouched low, eyes fixed, watching. With a sudden leap he twisted, avoided a strike, and spun behind the alien. Using its own momentum, he threw it forward, slamming it into the ground. The arena fell silent. Every spectator held their breath. No human had ever achieved this, not in recorded history. He stood there, chest heaving, not triumphant but steady, alive, unharmed, and yet the energy of his presence demanded respect. The Voreth warrior felt something stir within her chest, a feeling she had not experienced in decades. Curiosity had turned to recognition. The human was more than a fighter. He was a warrior, not by size, not by weapon, not by enhancement, but by spirit. She could feel it in his stance, his gaze, the way he moved. He was someone rare, someone exceptional. For the first time in her life, she considered the possibility that a human might not be inferior, that a species she had always dismissed as weak could, in fact, hold a spark that no weapon or armor could match. And that spark, she wanted to see more of it. The human looked around, scanning the arena, sensing every movement, every intention, every threat. His eyes met hers for a brief moment. In that instant, she knew. He was the one, not hers in possession, but hers in recognition. He was a warrior that deserved to be seen, understood, and respected. As the crowd erupted into cheers, the human didn't smile or bow. He simply nodded once, acknowledging the end of the fight. The Voreth warrior remained silent, letting the noise wash over her. This was no ordinary combat. This was a revelation. The part ended with her thoughts spinning. The human had survived unarmed. He had defeated multiple enhanced fighters. And yet more than that, he had done it with intelligence, creativity, and spirit. He was alive, yes, but alive in a way that challenged everything she had been taught about power and dominance. Somewhere deep in her mind, she knew the future would change because of him. The arena had been conquered, not by strength, but by will. And she would not forget it. The arena had quieted after the human's astonishing victory. Spectators, once laughing and jeering, now whispered among themselves, unable to believe what they had seen. No human had ever survived against so many enhanced warriors. No human had ever moved with such clarity, such intelligence, such precision. High in her observation seat, the Voreth warrior leaned forward, her sharp eyes fixed on the human. He stood in the center of the arena, breathing evenly, his body poised and relaxed. She had watched him for only a few minutes, but already she understood. He was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. And that understanding stirred something she had not felt in decades, something dangerous and thrilling, curiosity mixed with desire to test limits. The officials of the arena, creatures of strict protocol and rigid rules, approached the human. Their tentacles writhed nervously as they signaled that it was time for judgment. According to law, a victorious unarmed fighter belonged to the arena's ruling body, property to be used, trained, or sold. It was simple. And yet, when the lead official tried to step forward, the Voreth warrior rose from her seat. Her voice echoed across the arena, calm but firm. "He does not belong to you. He is not property." "Why do you interfere?" one official demanded, his voice high-pitched and angry. "Because," she said, her eyes narrowing on the human, "he is a warrior, and warriors cannot be bought or sold." Confusion and curiosity flickered across his face. He had won the fight, but he did not understand why anyone would step forward on his behalf. He had not asked for help, nor had he expected it. "You make a bold claim," the lead official hissed. "Do you understand what you risk? The laws of the arena are absolute. If you interfere, you risk your title, your honor, and your life." Across the arena floor, whispers turned to shouts. Spectators debated loudly, some in awe, others in outrage. The human shifted, uncertain, but the Voreth warrior's gaze was steady. There was no doubt in her mind. He belonged to no one but himself. The largest of the officials stepped closer, his voice booming. "And if he refuses your claim?" For the first time in his life, the human felt the weight of being truly seen, not as a weak, fragile creature, not as an underdog to be mocked, but as a warrior respected for his courage and skill. He did not know what to say. He had never imagined that someone of this stature would intervene for him, let alone call him worthy of freedom. The Voreth warrior continued. "Strength is not only measured by weapons or enhancements. It is measured by will, by intelligence, by the courage to face impossible odds. This human has shown that in abundance. Do you not see the danger?" He had fought to survive, to prove himself in the arena, but now he realized the fight was no longer about the other competitors. It was about something larger, something he had never anticipated. The Voreth warrior, powerful and respected, had placed her faith in him, and now his choices carried consequences far beyond the arena floor. Suddenly, a new challenge arose. From the crowd of officials and spectators came a group of alien champions, each enhanced for combat. They had witnessed the humans' victories, and they did not like what they saw. If a human could survive, adapt, and defeat their strongest fighters without weapons, what did that mean for the balance of power? One by one, they stepped forward, circling the human, ready to test him again. They believed he was untrained, inexperienced, and vulnerable. They underestimated the human's mind, his adaptability, and his capacity for strategy. The Voreth warrior observed carefully, her eyes flicking between each movement. She did not intervene yet. She wanted to see him truly tested. If he could survive this, he would not only have earned her respect but would prove to the galaxy that humanity was not to be dismissed. The first alien charged, its legs pumping with mechanical precision. The human did not flinch. He studied the trajectory, the timing, and the patterns in the movement. He sidestepped the attack with a flick of his wrist, not with speed alone, but with perfect understanding of leverage and momentum. The alien stumbled past him, off balance, and he used that to push it to the ground with a controlled, fluid motion. The crowd erupted into cheers. The next opponent attacked, this one wielding a long energy staff. The human ducked, rolled, and twisted in ways that seemed impossible for someone of his size. He used the alien's own strength against it, redirecting energy and momentum until the attacker fell, exhausted and frustrated. With each victory, the whispers in the galleries grew louder. Humans were supposed to be weak. Humans were supposed to be disposable. And yet here he was, surviving, adapting, and winning against some of the most dangerous fighters in the arena. The Voreth warrior leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. She could feel the energy emanating from the human, not just physical energy, but mental clarity, determination, and a fierce, unyielding spirit. Every decision he made, every move he executed was deliberate and precise. He was learning from each encounter, not just reacting, and that made him unstoppable in a way that weapons could never achieve. As the final opponent approached, a massive alien bristling with spikes and metal enhancements, the human's eyes met the Voreth warrior's. For the first time, he understood her presence. He did not need words. He could feel her recognition, her respect. He moved with renewed confidence, channeling every instinct, every lesson he had learned from the previous battles. The final fight was a blur of motion. The alien lunged, swung, and struck, but the human was always one step ahead. He ducked, rolled, and leveraged the alien's own strength to bring it crashing down. When the dust settled, the arena was silent. The human stood alone, unarmed, victorious once again. The Voreth warrior exhaled slowly, a rare smile crossing her face. She knew without a doubt that this human was exceptional, not just in the way he fought, but in the way he faced impossible odds without fear or hesitation. He had proven himself more than anyone could have imagined. For the first time in her life, she felt something dangerous and exhilarating: hope. Hope that humans, so long dismissed as weak and insignificant, might actually hold a spark of greatness the galaxy had never recognized. And she knew that the next steps, political, social, and personal, would not be easy. The galaxy would resist, fear, and challenge this revelation. But she did not care. She had seen the truth. And the truth was simple: this human was no ordinary fighter. He was a warrior, and warriors could change everything. The arena did not return to noise after the final opponent fell. Instead, it stayed quiet in a way that felt heavy, like the moment before a storm. Thousands of eyes remained fixed on the human standing alone on the arena floor. He did not raise his arms. He did not celebrate. He simply stood, breathing slowly, aware that the fight was not truly over. High above, the Voreth warrior straightened. This moment could not be delayed any longer. She stepped forward. The movement alone caused a ripple through the galleries. Everyone recognized her armor, her markings, her status. She was not just a warrior. She was a commander, a leader, someone whose words carried weight across systems. When she began to descend toward the arena floor, officials scrambled in confusion and fear. "This is not permitted," one official called out. "The combat is concluded. The human must be processed." But the judgment is not. Her voice was steady without arrogance. "You have adapted. You have overcome enemies larger, stronger, and better equipped than yourself. Tell me, human, why?" An honest one. It had not been used in generations. "You cannot do this," an official hissed. "The right is symbolic. It holds no power here." The human looked around, confused. "What does that mean?" he asked quietly. She faced him again. "It means no one may claim you as property. No one may force you to fight. No one may cage you." She paused. "It means you are recognized." Her eyes softened just slightly. "Nor would I offer to be one." He humiliated trained warriors. Others will follow him. Humans will believe themselves equal. If you do this, you take responsibility for him. His actions will reflect on you. Across the galleries, reactions were divided. Some cheered, others hissed or turned away. Many simply watched in stunned silence. The human was escorted out of the arena, not in chains but freely, surrounded by guards who did not touch him. That alone sent a powerful message. In the halls beyond the arena, the noise faded. The Voreth warrior walked beside him, her stride confident but unthreatening. "You fight differently," she said, "not just with your body." Ships moved slowly in the distance, unaware of the quiet shift that had just occurred. "Others will challenge this," she said. "They will test you. They will test me. I just don't let it decide for me." For the first time, the galaxy was not laughing at them. It was watching. The Voreth warrior looked out at the stars. "Change rarely arrives loudly," she said. "It begins with moments like this." The arena was behind them now, but its echo would carry far beyond steel walls and cheering crowds. The galaxy had seen a human stand unarmed and unbroken, and it would not forget. The news did not travel slowly. Across trade lanes, military channels, and private networks, one message spread again and again. A human had fought unarmed. A human had defeated enhanced warriors. A human had been recognized, not owned. For many species, the idea felt wrong, even dangerous. For others, it felt like a crack in a wall that had stood for centuries. On the station, the human felt the change before he saw it. Guards no longer watched him as prey. Some avoided his eyes. Others studied him carefully as if trying to understand something new. He walked freely through halls once closed to his kind, not because of power, but because no one knew how to stop him anymore. The Voreth warrior stayed close, not as a handler but as a presence. She spoke little, yet her authority followed her like gravity. "They are afraid," he said as they walked together. "Yes," she replied. "Not of you alone. Of what you represent." "If they take it away," he said, "I won't fight to keep it." Leaders of dozens of species watched from elevated platforms. Their faces showed suspicion, anger, and fear. The human stood at the center, unarmed as always. The Voreth warrior stood beside him, tall and calm. One council leader spoke first. "You challenge tradition," it said. "You risk instability. Humans are known for rebellion." "We rebel when we're treated like tools," he said simply, "not when we're treated like people. If that frightens you, then perhaps the problem is not him." But more than that, the council declared something unprecedented. Humans would no longer be classified as a lesser combat species. They would be observed, studied, and most importantly, respected. The chamber erupted into mixed reactions: relief, anger, shock. The human closed his eyes for a moment. He had not expected this. He had not planned for it. And yet somehow it felt right. Outside the chamber, reporters and observers waited. The Voreth warrior turned to him. "You changed more than your own fate," she said. "I didn't mean to," he replied. "That is often how the most important changes happen." The galaxy began to see what it had missed for so long. Humans were not the strongest. They were not the fastest. They were not the most advanced. But they adapted. They endured. They chose. The human returned to the arena one last time, not to fight, but to stand where it had all begun. The place where he had been expected to fall. The place where he had refused. The Voreth warrior stood beside him. "You could stay," she said. "Train others, lead. You will not walk it alone." She did not claim him as a weapon. She did not claim him as property. She claimed the truth he revealed. That true strength was not about domination. It was about standing when the galaxy expected you to kneel. And from that day forward, no one would ever underestimate humanity again.